Hi there. In this screencast, I'm going to quickly look at how we can use a framework. Specifically, I'm going to use the Foundation Prototyping Framework, a framework I learned about from SitePoint, which is one of my favorite web design book publishers. So first of all, I'm just going to quickly open up my browser. And let's bring it into this window here. I was looking for a leather jacket a while ago, and that's why I've made my home page eBay and with a leather jacket, if you're wondering. I found one but didn't fit. Alright, so if I just search for Foundation Framework, it already pops up, but and then I click on the link here, and you can learn all about Foundation. You can download the entire framework here, and there's a whole bunch of stuff you can learn about this framework. So there's an Intro to Foundation, Advanced Foundation, Certification, and they have a list of all of the websites that use Foundation. So basically what this framework does is that it's a responsive framework, so you can employ the CSS that you're given to create an HTML document. That HTML document will be responsive to whatever screen size. So that's its main purpose. So what I'm going to do is go over to develop. I'm not going to bother downloading the entire thing. All I need is the CSS and some JavaScript. So I'm going to go down to the HTML templates. And then I'm just going to use a simple template. The blog single columns is the simplest here, but you can try out all of these templates once you see how. And I'll choose download. And then I'll copy it. I'm just going to pause here so you don't see all of the contents of my folder. So I've copied it from my downloads. I'm just going to quickly place it into my documents, and then you can see what's going on. So I'm just going to fire up my File Explorer and go to my documents. Here's my documents. I'm going to create a new folder in my documents called Foundation. Actually, I'll put it in my websites too that I was using for my web design course. There it is there. And I'll create a new folder called Foundation, just to keep things cut and dry. Foundation. And I'll paste that HTML. I have to refresh for some reason. Now let's take a look at this. So I'm just going to double click on it, and this is what the actual thing looks like. So what I'm going to quickly do is just customize some of the content so we can see that and how we do that. And then I will change this image. So I've got a bunch of images I can use. And then lastly, I'll change the CSS, and there's a bit of a hurdle there that you'll see. So let me just quickly open this in brackets. And I'll just change this to home, shop, about us, or sorry, I'll say portfolio or something. Sorry, contact, that's what I meant to say. And also social media or something like that. And I'll say the name of your store or website. And our mission statement or call to action or whatever you have. And I'll say new products. And today's date. So I'll save. Switch back to Foundation and refresh. So it's as simple as that to customize the content. I'm going to quickly grab an image. So it tells us it's supposed to be 850 by 350. So I've got a bunch of backgrounds I've saved. Let me know if you want these. I believe they're free, royalty-free backgrounds. I think that's what they said when I grabbed them. I'll grab this nice blue one. And I'll put it into a folder called Assets. I have to refresh that, by the way. I don't know what's going on with my system. And a new folder called Images. And inside of that folder I will paste. And I'm going to give this a name. I'll call it product or something like that, so I can remember it. And I will copy that file name and actually before I copy it, I'm just going to resize that image to be 850 by 350. Actually, let me just plunk it in there and see what happens. I'm flying by the seat of my pants at this point. It might just work out. Don't forget the images, so assets. There we go. Ah, it worked just fine. I didn't have to resize. So basically we've got some content, customized content. I'm not going to bother with the stuff down here, but you would continue through, of course. And now notice when you resize, your image also resizes to fit, right? So it's responsive to whatever your screen width is. So that's fairly cut and dry. The next step is a little bit of a hurdle. If you want to change your colors, you're going to have to change the CSS. Now I'll show you why I say this. So if I look at my code, you'll notice that the style sheet is presently online. So what I need to do is go and grab this style sheet and then put it in my local directory so that I can change it if I need to change the colors. Now presently this is min. What that means is all of the spaces and line breaks have been removed. Let me just quickly show you instead of talking about it. I'm just going to go to my browser and open a new tab here. So when I look at that, CSS is very difficult to read. It's been minimized. Basically, each space or line break takes up 1 byte. So minimized CSS is a little smaller. The file size is smaller. It's no big deal when we have a website such as this, where it's basically just 1 page. It loads very quickly. However, if you're using this style sheet in a database, basically all of this gets added to a field in a record of a database, and it constantly loads, especially if you have 1 million requests a day or something like that, something like Amazon has. So it'll slow down the website quite a bit, those extra spaces and line breaks. So this is why we have some minimized version. Now we can get the full version by just removing that min. So this will be the version with all of the spaces and line breaks. So it's a little easier to read and modify. So I'm just going to use Control A, select all, because it's very, very tall. It'd take forever to drag down there, but you can do that as well. I believe it's Command A or something like that in a Mac. And I'll copy it. And I'll go back to my brackets, and I'll choose File New, and I'll paste this, and I'll save it in the same directory. In Assets, in a new folder called CSS. I'm just going to hit F5 instead of right clicking. Inside of CSS, I'm going to call it, I'll just call it custom, because that's my custom code. Sorry, it's a little small, and save. And then I'll go back to my blog simple and say sorry, leave those quotes. A for assets. I'll select accept CSS, and I'll accept custom. I'm just hitting enter to accept that, by the way. And file, save, and it should look exactly the same. If something changes, then you got the wrong CSS. Nothing changed. So that's the actual CSS. Right, even though I got rid of that min, I got the right CSS. Now I'm just going to change a couple of colors in here. Actually, I'll just change one just so you get an idea of what, how to do this. One color should give you that idea. So I want to change this pale blue. So if I right-click on it and I choose Inspect, again I'm using Chrome, by the way. If you right-click and Inspect, you get the Developer panel. Quick way to get the developer panel. There's a shortcut key too, which I can't recall. Now, again, I wanted this blue here. So right now it's when I right-clicked, it assumed I wanted the H2. If I just go up here. There we go. Call out large primary is the element that I want to grab a hold of. And there's the color there. So all I have to do is find this .callout.primary in that custom .css and then change that color to something else. So I'm going to change it to a color in this image. I'm going to change it to maybe this blue here or something like that. So if I click on that here and then mouse into this image, so you notice it allows me to select. Maybe I'll go with a nice something like that. I'll find a blue I like. There we go. And I'll call it that. Now I just select that. You can also use Peloton to grab your colors if you like. If you have a main image for your website, it's a good idea to match all of your colors to that. You can also do that with Peloton, by the way. And now, that's what the color will look like. It's just giving me a preview right in Chrome, so it's not actually going to look like this. So I just have to go to my CSS and change that. And again, let me just double check what it was called. It is called call out large primary. Call out dot primary, I should say. So I go back to my CSS. I choose find. Control F works as well. And I'll go call out dot, there it is there. And I can just paste that new color in there. And then you replace all of the colors that you need to match your color scheme that you got at peloton.com or wherever. If you've come up with your own color scheme or if your client gives you one. Now, if I go and I refresh, of course, now that color is the actual color. So that's basically using a framework in a nutshell. That's just the tip of the iceberg. However, there's a whole bunch of other functionality in this framework. A lot of CSS and JavaScript. You can go ahead and read the tutorials if you have some time. But this is a quick and dirty method of getting your website to be responsive to a cell phone or something like that. Thanks so much for watching.